IDEA, the Individual with Disabilities Education Act, is a piece of American legislation that ensures students with a disability are provided with a free, appropriate public education that is tailored to their individual needs. The federal law last updated IDEA in 2004, ensuring that all children with disabilities are entitled to a free, appropriate public education to meet their unique needs.
Jana, would you like some water?
No. And prepare them for further education, employment, and independent living. And here we are. That was in 2004. It's 2022, 18 years later, and I am begging for services for my daughter Emily that she is entitled to. Keep in mind that this was updated in 2004 federally, 6 years before her first IEP in 2010. So we have been out of compliance since then. For Emily and my family, this has been a burdensome, circular, and time-sucking process that has gone on for 7 months and is most likely to continue into month 8. Your discrimination to not allow Emily equal access to an education that her fellow classmates will receive is best illustrated by my letter from Superintendent Upham, dated March 28th, 2022. Dear Ms. Pennington, thank you for taking the time to reach out to me about being placed on the agenda for a meeting of Billings Public School Board of Trustees. I appreciate your staunch advocacy on behalf of your daughter. Pursuant to School District Policy 1420, which you can find on the school district's website, I will submit your request to be on the agenda to the Agenda Setting Committee, also called the Board Operations Committee, at its next meeting, Tuesday, April 5th at 11:30 a.m. via Zoom. That committee will determine whether to place your requested agenda item on the full board's agenda. However, I want you to know that I will be recommending that the committee deny your request for the reasons that follow. As you know, School District Policy 2050 governs the enrollment of students in Billings Public Schools. That policy categorically denies enrollment to any person who has reached age 19 on or before September 10th of the year to be enrolled. The policy does not allow exception or waiver of this denial of enrollment, and because your daughter will turn 19 prior to September 10th this fall, Policy 2050 forecloses your daughter continued enrollment. I have carefully reviewed your letter and the information you provided. While you are correct that House Bill 233 allows school districts to receive some funding from the state for the provisions of special education services to certain students between the ages of 19 and 22, it does not require a school district to provide such services. That is to say, HB 233 did not amend the underlying statute articulating when schools are required to enroll students. School districts set their own budgets and adopt their own policies within the boundaries of the law and Constitution. If a statute is permissive, like the one created by HB 233, a school district is not obligated to change its policy. In other words, Billings Public Schools has not changed Policy 2050, and enforcement of it as written is compliant with Montana law. Furthermore, I will note that you have been aware since your daughter's first IEP in April of 2010, when she was in kindergarten, that your family's decision to have her repeat kindergarten will cause her to age out before a 4th year of high school is completed. This fact was discussed repeatedly over the course of your daughter's education, including in March of 2016, where the IEP team discussed with you, your family, the option of advancing your daughter ahead that year. That option would have provided her an additional year of high school for vocational training and transitional services. After reviewing the options with the IEP team, your family made the decision to reject the district's recommendation to advance your daughter forward a year. I understand from your letter that your family believes it made the right decision to not advance your daughter. That is within your prerogative as a parent to make these decisions for your child. Lastly, to reiterate an earlier point, the plain language of School District Policy 2050 does not provide me, any of our administrators, or the Board of Trustees the authority to grant a waiver of policy for a 19-year-old who wishes to continue enrollment. Consequently, there is no need to place this issue on the agenda for a board meeting because there is no viable board action to be taken. Simply put, Policy 2050 does not permit the board to grant your request at this time. As always, you are free to attend any board meeting or send letters to provide public comment if you believe the school district should change its current policies and procedures. I ask you tonight to do the right thing and align Policy 2050 with HB 233. You as a board have an ability to fix this issue, and I am asking that you do it not just for Emily, but all of these kids with special needs. They did not choose to come this way. And they suffer a lot of things that I think Emily has probably had more illnesses than all of you sitting on that table. I urge you guys to just do the right thing. As a parent with a child with special needs, you learn to be a staunch advocate because of situations that happen like this. And I'll tell you what, back in October when we started this process, I had no idea that this was going to happen. But it's been, although it's been hard, it's been an honor. To be a voice for other people that just either don't have the time or the fortitude or the wherewithal. I mean, there's so many different reasons. There's a lot of kids that have special needs that are a lot more intensive than Emily, for sure. She's been a blessing to our family, and we've learned a lot from it. And I thank you for your time and consideration.